MacVoices is supported by Fight Camp. Look good and feel good with at-home connected boxing. Try it free for 30 days at joinfightcamp.com/voices. And by Linode, your solution when you need a virtual server in the cloud. Use the code MacVoices to take $20 off your first purchase at linode.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices Live on Facebook. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I've got a panel that is already out of control to discuss today's Time Flies event, the Apple Time Flies event, and all the announcements there. I'm not even going to pretend to do any formal introductions. I'm just going to go around and let you know who's here. So, and I'm going to work my screen instead of trying to keep anything straight alphabetically. So with that, first up, Dr. Robert Carter is here from the Tech Doctor podcast. Robert, welcome. It's great to have you on MacVoices Live.
Thank you, Chuck. It's nice to be here. Big Apple Day.
Big Apple Day. Big Apple Day. Mr. David Ginsburg is back with us. He's back auditioning. We'll see if he blows it as potential co-host this week. David?
No, we're only coming off of another podcast from this morning, so I think we'll keep things rolling. But right. Thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah, sounds good. Kelly Guimont is back with us. Kelly, good to see you.
I cannot believe you invited Kelly Guimont, Agent of Chaos, on the show with all these other people when you need someone to be quiet and keep comments brief.
Well, I've got the mute button, Kelly. Remember that.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So, yeah.
That makes more sense now. I get it. Okay.
Mr. Mark Fuccio is here as well. Mark, great to see you. Thanks for coming.
Hello, everyone. It's was a great day for Apple products, its services, etc. I look forward to a great discussion.
Great. Brittany Smith is back as well. Brittany, welcome. Go ahead. You're back from another location this time.
Thanks so much. Yeah. I had to leave the smoke.
Yeah, I had to get up. Yeah, that's true. I thought Kelly might be experiencing smoke because of the color of her walls, and then I remember her walls are always that color.
They're always this color, yes.
Yeah. And last but not least on the panel side, Mr. Jeff Gamet is here. Jeff, welcome.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And just to cover all my bases, I am so sorry. Just whatever happens, I am so sorry.
Oh, oh, good.
Second.
Two preemptive apologies. That's Robert. I'm so sorry for what you're going to have to endure. You're the most distinguished one here.
That's true.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
100%.
So let's start out by just the presentation of the event. This was very much like Dub, all pre-produced, very slick, very smooth, very professional, and it delivered. It would be interesting to see what those announcements would take in a normal keynote setting, because we were done in about an hour and 5-7 minutes.
Yeah,
1 hour and 3 minutes. I timed it. I timed the ending. 11:03 here in California.
So an hour and 3 minutes, and we got a pile of announcements.
Yeah, they went right through it,
and they did set us up right at the beginning, so we had expectations. I mean, just within the first couple minutes, Tim said, Apple Watch, iPad. So we knew what we were getting. There was no doubt in my mind at that point that we weren't going to be hearing about any other hardware products today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the presentation, Chuck, it was really interesting for me, for people who are watching who maybe don't know me. I do a podcast about Apple accessibility primarily because I'm a person who's blind. And today, for the first time ever, they provided what we call audio description for the event. So every time there was a video, or even when we were supposedly flying across the sky over Tim's shoulder, all that was verbally described. So I knew exactly what was going on, even on parts of the presentation that didn't have any verbal information. And that was, I really felt very much like more a part of the entire presentation because of that. It was really great of Apple to do that.
Robert, I have a question for you because the whole thing of having that live audio description for you first, I think is incredibly cool. But I have to know when they were describing zipping down the hall between rooms, did they say, "Whoop, there goes Air Force One"?
Sadly, they did not, but they should have.
Yes.
So, Robert, I have a question. So, how would somebody be clued in to see or receive those cues? Is there an alternate feed or an alternate channel?
No, it's a setting that you turn on an Apple device. I was watching it on my Mac, and it's a setting that you can turn on that will cause any of the Apple TV Plus shows or a lot of Netflix shows. But anyway, almost all of the Apple content that has visual components to it has the ability, or they provide an audio description track that's just played along with the regular audio track. But it's just something that you have to turn on in settings.
I see. Thank you for the information.
Was this the first time that you got an audio descriptive track with I guess an air quote live event from Apple?
Yes, first time that they had done it. I know they did it one time somehow for people who were actually live in the audience. You could somehow get access. Maybe they give out some headphones or something, but This was the first time we've seen it happen at an event. It was probably easier, honestly, to do it because of the way this one was done than it would be to audio describe a live one, but it was really nice.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, Apple, when they released the recording after the event, they also they also released a version that included ASL, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, cool!
That's what I had heard.
That is also true, Jeff. That last time there was a version released after the fact that had audio description, but it wasn't done during the presentation like it was today.
Okay.
And I think this is fascinating, not just for all the questions you all just asked, but also this is a huge advantage to having that pre-produced kind of program, that they have the time and the ability to do this. Because I would imagine, and Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure you've probably had other events that have tried to do something like that would be a bit more difficult to do on the fly as things happened.
Yeah, it is more difficult to do. They normally, are able to create a script ahead of time and work from a script based on being able to watch the video. But sometimes they do live audio description. I've seen them live audio describe the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I've seen them do some live audio description in theater productions. So it can be done, but it's a challenge for the describer who really has to be on his or her toes to describe whatever unexpected thing happened.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, it's once again, I mean, the production was absolutely amazing. It shows off the Apple campus so well. It just, and we all have been hearing the same thing after DubDub, that so many developers actually preferred this, and I think I may be in that camp. As long as they can keep the quality of the production up, this seems like a great way to deliver information, especially a lot of information fast.
Yeah, the flow of the session was so great. I mean, when we came off of the watching the event, I just felt really good. I mean, all the events in the past, you'd have all these developers come on stage, and they have all these other places, and then we would just kind of go off on a tangent for a while because you don't want to listen to some of the things that they were talking about during the session. But this event and DubDub as well. I mean, I thought the flow was just so nice and just a much more enjoyable event for us to be able to get all these new devices as well. So a great event today.
The game they showed was under a minute or something. I mean, thank goodness.
Yeah, and I liked how they broke it up, like having not going back and forth to the same location over and over again with different people. Like sometimes, it was all the way across campus or all the way from one side of the mothership to the other. and see somebody, or then down, drop a level below for the next person to speak, and all those kinds of things. I really liked how all the transitions were different, and it was very similar to the dub video with that experience, aside from Tim was actually on stage, I think, at the Steve Jobs Theater to kick off the keynote at Dub, and that was not the case for this one. He was just sort of standing in the hallway. But I like, as a presentation, I enjoyed it very much, and it really, I feel like somehow this has helped with the presentation itself. Like, somehow Tim Cook seemed more dynamic in this sort of like low-key, not in front of a room full of people setting. I noticed Jeff Williams sounded a lot more enthusiastic, I guess. He tends to be pretty low-key on stage, and this wasn't on stage, and he was not really all that low-key this time. And I think it may also be a way that they give other people opportunities to be part of the event who maybe would not have been part of it. Aside from, like, we don't really see the fitness people until now, and we haven't really seen, some of these other folks before this moment. So I think there's something to that piece of it as well. So I enjoyed it very much.
Even Craig Federici made a cameo appearance. I thought it was, I just like in and out. It was like, it was beautiful.
Yeah. But you're right. It was a cameo. It was not, okay. Here's
he
Craig
never spoke.
Yeah.
My theory is
grin. It was.
He got an
his
uncredited
hair.
appearance. Yes.
His hair has a contract to be in every Apple event, featured in some way at every Apple event. I don't think Craig has anything to do with it. I think that's all his hair. Honestly, that's just me.
But normally it's an iPhone event. And it's also when they are announcing the release date for iOS 14. And because those things didn't coincide this time, it was interesting that there was no, like, by the way, the iOS 14 that's coming soon, here's all these other features. They did that with the watch, but not with the iPhone. And
with iOS, right? Wasn't it at the very end? They were like, here's all the things iOS 14 will do, and you can have it tomorrow. Bye.
Oh, iOS 14. Yeah, for the new iPads, they were doing that.
iPad, yeah. They did do iPad stuff, but not on iPhone.
I swear they showed it. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
It's been a long week today, so I may just be remembering that badly. But I thought they had shown it and then, like, announced it and left it at that. So
yeah.
So maybe my brain was gone by then. Because the disadvantage of not having people walk on and off stage is it doesn't give you that, like, commercial break mental, like,
give me a sec
before you ramp up again. Yeah. It's a lot more breakneck and hard to take it all in.
I think in person, this would have been a 90-minute event.
At least.
Between all of the transitioning.
They'd have a lot more crap filler and bad jokes.
No, I don't even think it's that. I think it's the transition of people on stage, and I think it's holding for applause because they're going to say something, Fitness Plus, and everybody cheers, or Apple One, and everybody cheers.
Filler.
But I think they, in doing those announcements with an audience interaction, and honestly, there's some selfish reasons why I like this, because for me, this event is exactly the same, and I don't care that I'm not invited because nobody was invited, so I don't feel left out. So
we got the invite.
It's better that nobody's there. So
but the other.
I think it would have been a way longer event without the people in there, without people clapping, without switching back and forth between, and having to have like two, like devices everywhere so that people can come in and demo and leave and all of that. So I think that's why this also felt like a very dense event, is because we had, like I said, we had those little transitions, but they were very brief compared to what we would have normally had with a room full of people at the theater.
Right. Well, let's get to the products, because that's why we're really here. I think it is important to acknowledge that, we are in different times, and Apple really feels like it's risen to the occasion by, forgive me, thinking different about, how it does these things and producing something that is beneficial. And thanks to Robert for pointing out there were aspects to it that enhanced it that we didn't even know about. If we didn't have the ability or need to turn on those aspects. So good job. So where do we start? Watch? Is that a good place to start?
Yeah.
Sure.
Watch. I think we can dispense with reviewing all the details and everything that are announced, folks. If you want that, you can go and find it a million places, or you can just go back and watch the Apple event. But I'm curious at a gut level, what are your reactions? Is this a sufficient? Are some of these features sufficient to drive an upgrade for, say, an Apple Watch 2, 3, 4, even 5 user?
I think so. I just want to gloat, but a week ago on your show where Kelly and I joined you with Mike LaPlante, we were talking about this, and I think I nailed it, or we nailed it when we said that we expected that it would have an oxygen meter and tie into COVID. Well, that's exactly part of what they used in talking about Series 6. So I think that was really great. I think probably the more important thing was the Watch SE. They're driving down the price to expand their available market, and a lot of family setup so that not everyone has to have a phone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so that they can expand it and make setup easier, and hence make the device itself more accessible. So I expect we'll see more of that in the future. But I think it was great. It's clear that this event, they anchored everything. It was all about health and health monitoring, tied in the phone as well as their fitness or their Fitness Plus service announcement. So I think everything hung together. So I think that was really good, and it's clear this as well as notification is part of the reason that people like Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm. I think family setup is one of the biggest things that they announced today that's watch related. And yes, I know that they announced 2 new models of watch, but I think family setup is massive. And I don't think family setup, like the example that they gave was like kids playing basketball at the playground or whatever, but I don't think that at all. And maybe it's just because I am of a particular vintage, but like when they talked about fall detection and setting that up with Series 4. I have a Series 4 watch. When they talked about we're setting up fall, like you can get fall detection and you have the automatic like emergency contact.
Help! I've fallen.
The first thing I thought was, this is a thing that my parents could use. This is a thing that my grandparents could use. Mm-hmm. Like my in-laws, my grandparent, like I don't know what you call but Mr. Kelly's grandparents, like those are the first people I thought of when I thought of like fall detection and being able to sort of help monitor people independently without sort of having to point a camera in the kitchen and be like, Mom, don't get on that high shelf, or, like over the camera or whatever. So like when I see family setup, like that's what I think of, because I remember when those first sort of health features were announced, like my entire Twitter timeline turned into, this is what my mom, dad, grandma, grandpa are getting for Christmas. And so the ability to set that up without having it be completely reliant on you yourself also happening to have an iPhone, I think is fantastic. The other piece that that I think was massive was the research, the health kit research stuff that they announced today. Being able to collect that kind of data at scale as easily as you got a watch, you want to do it. Like, I feel like being able to do that research, like it's almost exactly that complicated, by the way, because I participated in a couple of them, and it's basically that complex. You have to say like, okay to a few things that are very clearly laid out about like, this is what's going to happen to your data. And so being able to collect that kind of data and amass the kind of data that you need to actually get useful conclusions out of, which I'm going to leave to the scientists on the panel, is huge. And being able to do that, I think, is the other thing that I think Apple is really, really good at leveraging. And those were the two standout watch announcements that I saw today, of all the stuff that they talked about with watchOS.
Jeff, you and I have talked about this, I think, at a number of times. This just feels like another natural evolution. They're not, oh my God, huge whiz-bang features, but they're evolving in the healthcare space. They're evolving now in the family space, and even though that's still more or less health related, is that kind of the way you feel about this?
Oh yeah. Looking at the new models, it really felt to me like this was the natural progression, and Apple is finding good ways to take this product line and make it easier to add in other people to the platform, but doing it in a way that isn't contrived. And that's really important. So yeah, the whole family thing, I think it's great. And one of my first thoughts was, oh yeah, if you have a kid and they're young enough that you're thinking, nah, no iPhone for them, an Apple Watch would be a great alternative. Mm-hmm. And then, like Kelly said, for the family members that are older, where you want to have an easy way to monitor or interact with them, what a great option. When I looked at the features, and because I knew immediately someone somewhere along the way was going to say, hey, Jeff, what do you think about this as, is it a valid upgrade from a Series 5? Well, it is if you want it, and it's not if you don't. I still have a Series 4 because the Series 5 to me was not worth upgrading to.
Same
but
here.
when they said blood oxygen monitoring, I was like, you don't have to tell me any other features. That's all I needed to hear. And for me, going from a 4 to a 6, it's totally justifiable. Just all I needed was that one thing, and then whatever else they added in. Because there are a couple other things that they added in to the 6.
Altimeter, I think, is one.
Oh yeah, the always-on altimeter.
Always-on altimeter, yeah.
Which, okay, fine, whatever. That's a nice little bonus. But that pulse oximeter thing happening, boom, that was it. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. From 4 to 5, I think it was always on screen was like the big thing, the big switch from 4 to 5. So I was like,
yeah,
every time, like, I'm never trying to look at my watch sort of subtly. So like it never bothered me that I never had an always on watch face. So for me, skipping 5 was fine. And I personally don't really have a lot of need for the oximeter. So I might still wait on this one too, depending. I mean, if I wonder a good deal on a Series 4, then, if I trade it in, then maybe we'll talk, but.
So question
Kelly,
for Jeff.
If I get rid of this, it's a 40 millimeter. Just saying.
It's yours. 4. Kelly, it's a gift from me via Jeff. It's yours. But I want question for Jeff and others. Do you think we're maybe starting to see a more defined watch upgrade cycle of every other generation, analogous to what we've seen on the iPhone?
I'm another one who has a Series 4, and I probably will go for the Series 6 because of the oxygen sensor. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty popular on this panel.
Yeah. And one of the features that got my attention, though, that they sort of skipped over was the brighter screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's to be overlooked by the fitness crazies who are out there in the bright sunlight doing things. They want to be able to see the screen easily. Now, obviously, none of us have seen it yet as to how much brighter it is. But if they mention it was that much brighter, then I got to believe it's going to be relevant.
It'll probably.
We should also.
Oh, sorry, I was remembering sunlight.
Oh, okay. We should also point out
the before time.
Yeah, we should also
remember
point out
going places. Yeah.
Yeah, we should always point out, though, that there was an Apple Watch SE announced, too. So this is another way that they're bringing people into the ecosystem. And I know, David, we had some discussions about that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, the SE is going to be really bringing in a lot of folks in to get into the entry-level watch, have it good for kids, older adults. I think that's where it's going to be big as well. And I was going to kind of spin back with the family setup in relation to the SE.
This is a family plan watch.
It's a family plan watch, but the only thing is you have to have cellular on your watch in order for you to utilize the family setup. So that kind of adds a little cost.
It doesn't work over Wi-Fi?
It does not.
It said it had to be a cellular model, which means it's probably and they didn't say anything about what the cell phone carriers are going to charge, but it's going to be minimum $120 a year plus
$10
whatever, plus the cost of the thing. Yeah, and they could end up charging more because it's its own phone line, and
And then the interesting thing also with the family setup, I'm just looking at the specs here. It does cover the Apple Series Watch Series 4 or later. So if you have cellular on it, you could still use that watch. But again, back to the SE, I think it's kind of going to open doors for a lot of people who are going to want to buy just an inexpensive model and go with that.
And don't forget, they said the Watch 3, it has a $199 price, so that's even lower. So they have a lot of low price options to bring people into the ecosystem.
Because it's $199 and $279. $199 for the Series 3. I don't know why they're not selling the Series 4. But it's the Series 3 at $199, and then the SE at $279. $279, that's right. The Series 6 is $399.
$399. $399.
Kelly, I can tell you why they're still selling the 3 and they didn't switch to the 4.
And that is?
It's artificial product differentiation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Screen size.
Well, no. Also, don't forget the 4 has the sensor for EKG. So that's additional cost. That's additional cost. So if you boot that, you can sell it at a lower price.
Yeah, but
I'm assuming the SE, and I may be wrong. It doesn't have the oxygen sensor, does it?
It does not.
No,
it doesn't.
No. But I was wondering,
which is a disadvantage for older people. Unfortunately, it's a good price, but I think a lot of people who are, older like myself, but even older than me, would appreciate that health advantage.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't had a chance to memorize all the specs yet because get this, as soon as the keynote was done, I went outside and started building a chicken coop.
As one does.
As one does. And so I thought I saw on the specs that the SE does not include the EKG.
No, it does not.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't have any of the sensors. That's why it's low. That's why it's a lower price.
Yeah.
But the comments about the some of the things requiring the Wi-Fi, the cellular, I mean, unfortunately, we're not in the realm of magic yet, and so and things aren't quite ubiquitous as we would like it. So yeah, but I tell you what, if you're worried about tracking your kid or whatever, then that's probably
$10 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
$20 a month, absolutely.
And to Robert's point, if you have the need or the need, not even the want, but the need for the health sensor, I mean, it's not cheap. But the fact that you can buy it at all is kind of impressive, and combine it then with all the other advantages that the Apple Watch gives.
I think it's just awareness. Like, it wasn't something they really talked about that, like this is going to if you go this route, the way that we have shown it to you, there is an additional ongoing monthly cost for that. And that's all, that's the only part of it that I wish they had talked more about, that, it needs to be this one, and that comes with, and it needs to be part of your phone plan or whatever. I wish there had been a little more awareness of that, but I think
not in an hour and 3 minutes. Not in an hour and 3 minutes.
I know.
Of course, unfortunately, if we stay on lockdown or stay in the pandemic, you can maybe get away with just using it on Wi-Fi because you aren't going anywhere to need the cellular anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But I also think this is an intermediate step to turning the Apple Watch into a device of its own.
Absolutely.
And that I think that's the bigger purpose that family setup serves, aside from I can set my mom up with an Apple Watch, or I can set some other family member up with an Apple Watch with family setup, and then all of the features and benefits that entails, including the ongoing monthly fee. Aside from that, this is also the first bigger step in turning the Apple Watch into a self-sufficient device of its own, to where right now it used to require your
it's
Apple
still
Watch
an accessory.
Right. It used to require you wearing the Apple Watch to have an iPhone. Now it requires someone to have an iPhone, and then next will be not so much. And so I think
all you need is a website. In the future, all you need is a website.
Yeah, like a little bit of
I
Wi-Fi.
think a lot of parents will really find the SE attractive for their kids. I mean, that's a price that you can afford to let a kid give it a shot.
And we're being a little unfair here as far as the cellular companies, because not all cellular companies are created equal. I mean, the last time I did any checking on that, some required you to pay a whole lot for that extra line, some not quite as much, and so it'll be interesting to see where that.
I want to see that compete. Yeah,
I thought all of them did $10 a month for if you have your own line and your own cellular.
I want to say someone is doing better than that, but the whole mobile landscape has changed since the last time we tried. So that's definitely something we'll dig into over at Mac Observer, because that's a thing that that's a thing we'll want to know.
Kelly got her plug in.
Nicely done.
Honestly, I wasn't trying. It's just that we do a show every day, and it's really nice to have something like that gift wrapped and ready to go to talk about.
So Kelly,
but I would just emphasize,
if someone tunes in on Wednesday to Daily Observations, Mac Observer's Daily Observations, they'll get even more insight into Apple's announcements from today.
Sure.
Whatever, but don't forget, you can order today and pick it up on Friday.
Yes,
I'm
Mark,
I'm blushing from this. Goodness sake,
Mark, thank you for bringing that up, because you're right. It is you can order today and pick it up Friday, or have it delivered. Whenever. One thing I did want to mention, though, that they came out with a couple new watch bands, and we're not going to obsess over those, but the one requires you to measure your wrist, because it is not adjustable. You have to size it. So
Solo loop.
Yep.
So thank you, the Solo Loop. So if you go to the page, you download, you pull up a page where you're supposed to print the sheet off. You cut it out so it's a watch band that you wrap around your wrist and size yourself.
I need to point something out, which to all of us will seem so obvious, but to a lot of people, it won't. When you print that out, make sure that your printer settings are set to 100% and not fit to page. Otherwise, it will be too small.
It'll be
wrong.
They
did say that, by the way. They specifically said this is what you need to do. So, yeah.
I'm so curious about that band. I really, really am. And I'm sad I don't have an Apple Store option to go check it out and get my hands on one and see how it really feels, because my hand over my knuckles is bigger than where my watch actually goes, and so how much give is it really going to have and actually fit comfortably on my arm? So I have many questions about that.
Is that a COVID shutdown or the civil unrest shutdown?
Yes.
Both? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But Kelly, not only keep it comfortable on your wrist, but also have it tight enough that it's going to do all the health things that it's supposed to be doing.
And not have to enter my passcode 8 times a day because it loses contact with my arm or whatever.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Fight Camp is supporting this edition of Mac Voices. Look good and feel good with at-home connected boxing. Have you ever done boxing, kickboxing, or thought about taking it up, but are just too busy, can't access a good boxing gym, or any gym for that matter? You need to check out Fight Camp. You don't even have to go to the sporting goods big box store to get equipment. Fight Camp provides everything so that you can get started with the new boxing and bodyweight workouts that are released each week, or choose from over 400 different workouts for all fitness and skill levels already available. Men, women, even families can all get in on the fun and benefits of Fight Camp. Get started now for free. Just download the Fight Camp app and select the workout of your choice. You learn from 6 highly qualified trainers that include a pro MMA fighter and mother of 2 to a kickboxing world champion. Endless variety, uplifting beats, motivating trainers, and Fight Camp technology create a satisfying workout that will keep you engaged and coming back for more. Fight Camp offers flexible financing for as low as 0% APR, and right now, as a limited time, you can try Fight Camp for 30 days with their money-back guarantee. Just go to joinfightcamp.com/voices. That's right, try Fight Camp for 30 days, and if you don't love it, they'll refund your money. Train like a fighter and turn your sweat into results. To try Fight Camp for 30 days, just go to joinfightcamp.com/voices. joinfightcamp.com/voices. Thanks to Fight Camp for their support of Mac Voices. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by Linode. You can build it on Linode. When it comes to websites, you have lots of choices, and there are lots of things to consider. But when making your decision, you should be sure to look at Linode, because they check off all the boxes. Easy to set up, one-click installs for things like WordPress, Minecraft servers, and VPNs? Check. Fast SSD servers to make your website super responsive? Check. Industry-leading processors to, again, make your website super responsive? Check. Data centers around the world so that your website can be where you want it to be? 10 of them, in fact. Check. An easy-to-use cloud-based interface for managing your site? Check. Tools to make deploying and maintaining, provisioning, securing, monitoring, and backing up your infrastructure simple? Check. In fact, pretty much anything you have on your list of server wants and needs can be satisfied by Linode. And it gets better. Visit linode.com/MacVoices and get $20 off your first order. Linode.com/MacVoices to save $20 on your first order. Check them out and get your server up and running today. Linode.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Linode for their support of MacVoices. Okay, so because I want to make sure we get to everything here. And I guess sort of along with the Apple Watch, we should probably just touch on Apple Fitness. This seems to be something.
I'm pumped.
Really? My initial
I'm the
reaction
one
was.
that's excited.
I'm literally pumped.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and we'll get down to Apple One in a little while, but just when I saw this, it's like, who's going to pay $10 a month for this?
That was my first thought, and then I posted that on Twitter. I don't know about this price thing, and I was getting replies from people saying, "Dude, do you know how much I pay for my Peloton?"
Yeah,
is that right? Peloton.
Peloton.
12, 13, 14 a month. Yeah.
And they're like, I can get this for my entire family for less per month than I'm paying for my Peloton thing for just me.
Well,
and I'm like, oh,
and it's
okay.
also $80 a year. Like, there are people who pay more than $80 a month for the privilege of going to a gym when you could still go to gyms. And
you can't compare it to a gym. That's not fair.
No, but like, if I'm gonna pay for fitness and attend a class where I'm following along with an instructor who's giving me a workout, like, yes, that's a thing I can do at home now, but that's also that's a thing a lot of people pay for gyms for. When I have paid for gyms, that's literally the thing I was paying for, was getting to go to a class and have somebody else say, like, ratchet down the strap and like paddle harder or whatever kickboxing it was.
You're racing Lance, pedal faster.
Yeah, see, like,
part of it.
That's for me, that was the only part I cared about. So, like, I think this would be fun. Like, I don't think Apple's going to give me workouts that are going to make me any more angry than any other sort of exercise does.
but
I think it's going to be fun. I think
feedback.
My watch knows what's going on, and like, it'll just like figure it all out for me. And like, half the reason I get up and walk around every hour is because my watch says it's time. So that kind of stuff, like, I'm really interested in seeing where this goes, because I've tried some of the on-demand kind of things and really not enjoyed them. So maybe Apple's is better, or maybe I'll be back here, like, after it goes live, Chuck, maybe I'll just be back here and be like, I have no idea what I paid for. I've made a terrible mistake. And Chuck, all of you were correct when I was on that time after the event.
I'm not suggesting that anybody's correct or incorrect. It just struck me. But you guys have educated me a little bit here. I had no idea that the Peloton was charging that kind of I've seen the commercials. I don't have one, so I really haven't paid attention. I had no idea they were charging that kind of money per month.
Well, what's the cost on units? I mean,
yeah,
you can tell how many people were interested in the Fitness Plus news, because you can. Somebody, I think MKBHD, posted a chart of the Peloton stock, and it went
the intraday price. It collapsed. Yeah.
Really?
It's like below the frame.
It recovered.
It came back, but yes, it went off. It went off a cliff as soon as they said Fitness Plus. Like, you can see the time, and it just
11:13. Yeah. If
that's very telling.
Yeah, that really.
Yeah.
Is.
Sorry, 10:13 here, or 1:13 on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brittany, are you excited over this at all?
It is the only service thing I'm remotely interested in that they mentioned today. I'm curious about it. The only reason I said you can't compare it to a gym is like in a gym, I'm embarrassed to stop it because I'm in a room full of people. Like there's extra accountability there. It starts at a particular time. Like at home, I can shut it off when it gets hard and I'm not embarrassed about that. So there's extra things that you get out of a gym, physically being somewhere your kids aren't. That exist that just don't exist for this. So just price wise, you can't compare them. I had never heard of Peloton until today. As I said last week, unless you advertise on a podcast, I haven't heard of you. So that's my bubble. But
yeah, really. So if you want to know about mattresses or websites, Brittany's your girl.
That's what I know.
Good to know.
Okay, so why are Sealy and Tempur why are they all jumping up in stock price this week? They're just mattresses, for God's sake.
I got nothing. Anyway,
simmer down.
It's the only one I would think about. I'm definitely going to try it on the trial, which I have never said about an Apple service that they've had a trial for before. I want to see how it works with my watch. I'm really interested in biometrics and how like our biology and technology and brains work together. That's the thing I love the most. So I'm definitely going to try it. I don't know if I'll keep it, but I'm going to try because I'm super curious how it's going to work and I need to be able to tell people.
I also like the idea
this launches at the end of the year, correct?
Later. I think was all it says. Yeah,
Sure.
later in 2020.
All right. Here's where I'm going with this. I'm curious how many people will still be as enthused about Fitness Plus when it launches compared to today.
Sure.
Will it coincide with New Year's resolutions?
Prediction: it will ramp up going into New Year's, and then it will fade going into first quarter.
Yeah, but you know what?
Because it's a subscription, they'll be hooked into it.
No, it's because if you do this at your house, then you're not the people that I always see on Twitter for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the year going, the free world is at my gym right now. Everything is terrible. And, I have to wait for all the New Year's resolution people to fall off the wagon so I can get my favorite treadmill back. I see that on Twitter every year, so reliably. So I'm excited about the workout stuff. And the other thing I liked about it is it's not tied to any hardware. If you have a treadmill, if you have a bike, if you have a rowing machine, they don't care which one it is. It matters not. You can use that, or you can just do the cardio workouts that don't require anything at all. So yeah.
I'm looking at the time, guys, and we need to move on because I definitely want to touch on the new iPads. These are, I think.
I also want to touch the new iPads. Sorry.
I think these were pretty exciting announcements. There's a lot there, and David, I know I'm going to pull you in on this one because we talked a little bit about the Touch ID thing, and the way they're implementing it now. It's not down at the bottom and it's not taking up screen space. It's right up on the power button.
It's on the power button. I was just phenomenal. I mean, that's just the technology of what they're coming out with. I mean, people who do not like Face ID, now they got the option to go to the side of the iPad and touch it. I'm interested to see how the technology is going to work because, your finger is only, that button is a lot smaller than your finger. So, I mean, obviously when you're setting it up for the first time, I'd be curious to see how that sets up because, I mean, are you going to be rolling your finger around on the Touch ID to get it to,
or maybe swiping your finger on it?
Or even swiping, yeah. I mean, but it's I mean, the Air had that as a game changer as well as they updated. So now the only iPads that have Lightning cables now is going to be the low end at the 8th gen. So, but the chip was awesome. I mean, had all new change in the screen. But I'm thrilled to see that Apple's starting to slowly lean towards USB-C. I wonder if that's going to happen on the iPhone 12. Yeah,
that was a question I had prepared coming into this. Have they tipped their hands? We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see in a couple weeks whenever the iPhone announcement is later this year.
They said the watch isn't coming with a power adapter, right? That was the other sort
power
of
brick.
Oh yeah,
big small thing that they casually tossed in there.
No. Wait a minute. No, we're going to correct this right now because I had it wrong earlier. The Apple Watch 6 The SE is not out yet. Okay. The
Right.
Apple Watch 6 comes with a charging cable, a USB charging cable, not the little
brick.
not the little brick.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Not the plug into the wall. Right.
And that's a whole different animal because
Yes.
some people said, "Gee, I'm going to get a watch and I'm going to need to charge it, and I'm not going to be able to charge it." And that is not correct. All you have to have is a USB port on a Mac, and you will be able to charge it. So,
right. I'm not talking about the cable. My question, the reason I bring it up, yes, Brittany, you're going to say something. I know.
Oh, I am concerned about this. And I'm concerned that this trend, and I'm not opposed to it in theory, of not including the bricks, has occurred exactly at the time that the USB-C has started, because regular people don't have USB-C bricks.
Chargers. Yeah.
They only have USB-A.
But so my question is, when are they going to start if they're going to continue to give me, say, an iPhone 1, if they're going to continue to give me one for my MacBook, then is that one going to have 2 ports? Because come on.
That would be a cool thing to do. Add
I've wanted
USB
that forever.
Charging port. Yeah, that would be great. Who is it that makes that awesome red plug that goes onto the charger that I have?
TwelveSouth PlugBug.
TwelveSouth, yes.
PlugBug, yep.
Yes, the glorious PlugBug.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with USB-C, you have like a plethora of other chargers available to you that you can use just for USB-C power delivery, like as long as it's got enough oomph. Like that's a piece of cake. But like Brittany said, people don't have those yet. We're not that far.
I've watched them open up things and go, what do you want me to do with this? Because it has a USB-C plug. And just get super frustrated and angry.
I bet it ships with
they don't have one.
I'm pretty sure that I saw the cable is an A.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's an A. You can buy a C.
But does the
watches?
Does the Air come with the brick or not? I didn't catch
The Air
that.
comes with the brick.
Air comes with a brick.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as
both
I mean,
the
they
iPads.
really
20 watt.
overdid the suddenly Mac is all USB-C.
Oh, yeah,
Like, can we please gradually put the rest of the world into it? Thanks.
Yeah. The 8th gen is also going to come up with a USB-C brick, the 20 watt, but it's going to have a USB-C to the lightning cable with it.
Okay.
Whereas the iPad Air is now a true out USB-C. It'll have the USB brick. Yeah, I think they got smart. They knew that with an iPad, they're not going to be able to not have.
You can't reliably charge an iPad from your laptop.
No.
Right.
It takes
Not anymore.
And this just seemed like, I don't know, it didn't bother me one way or another because in the basement I have a box full of
because we are those people.
The little bricks. Yeah, but Kelly, not just because of Apple products, but because of everything. I mean,
because
everything.
I'm a nerd. I have power adapters from everybody for everything. Yeah. I'm with you 100%. Like if I have family members who for some reason don't have one, like here, I have all of these. Do you want a black one or a white one or a blue one or a sideways one or
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robert, are we making too big a thing out of this? I mean, does the lack of a brick bother you?
Well, it doesn't bother me. I have, way more of them than I need. I think it will bother some people, and I can already hear some people arguing Apple's just trying to nickel and dime everyone to death. And yet, that their argument probably is at least somewhat valid that it's better for the environment not to include all these bricks that a lot of us don't need.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And look, you can't have it both ways. I mean, if you're going to try to do something for the environment, you're going to have to start to give up some things. And this seems like a pretty good place to start, and especially a watch, because you do have the option to charge it from your laptop. So
yeah, a watch doesn't need so much power that it's not feasible to charge it from like anything else. So I'm with the watch. I'm good with it. Yeah.
Right. Do you think there's going to be any confusion over the Air versus the Pro? Can I ask?
Yeah. Well, hold on a second. When you all are talking about the watch, the watch has a different charging system.
Yeah.
It's got the cylinder charger, but the other end of it's going to be a USB-A.
Yeah. So they're good. So we're really mixing, no pun intended, apples and oranges here. It's the Well, are they not including the cylinder charger anymore with the watch, or are they just talking about
you get
with the
cable.
The cable they're including the cylinder
not the plug.
cable, just not the actual plug brick to plug it in.
The wall part.
I just
got
thought
it.
of something.
Yeah, right. Okay, got it.
That plugs in. Yeah.
I have a question. With the cable being in the package and it's USB-A where it plugs into a charger, the assumption is that your laptop has enough power to charge your watch. Is Apple also including a USB-A to C adapter?
Doubt it.
Not that I know.
No.
I checked. It's no.
But they'll be happy for you to put one in your shopping cart.
Yeah.
Great,
Of course.
Yeah.
But
So
anybody that has made the transition from A to C has, I mean, I'm sorry, you've got a dozen of those little things laying around.
I got
Yeah.
ton of them.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Like
I
I
mean,
said,
that's
I have some. Please contact Chuck. Chuck will get you in touch with somebody else who, like me, runs a home for wayward USB, plugs into the wall, and we will match people up with all of these extra ones.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. We just, I mean, that's at some point during this transition period, you're going to leave somebody out, okay, or require them to buy just a little extra piece somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
they'll
that's
be
just
vocally angry.
amen.
Right,
then they'll
exactly.
get their
They will
charger.
they will gladly spend hundreds of dollars, and then they'll bitch and moan that a USB C to A or 4 for $10 at Amazon. So that's just
It'll
human
be
nature.
good if when they get really angry, if they have their new watch and they can see how their blood oxygen is being damaged, and they can maybe settle down a bit.
Yes.
Okay, that's 10 points to Robert right there.
Yeah.
Yes. You win. That's it.
Touche.
That's it for the charger conversation.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Versus lightning, so we can get over this too.
We will wrap up our discussion and analysis of Apple's Time Flies events with our all-star panel in the next edition of MacVoices. Until then, I'm Chuck Joyner, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.